Hi Megan, I wanted to tell you that I watched your video and wow, I kind of forgot that you were moving up there in the sense of how close you were to that particular site that kind of symbolizes on the East Coast some of the most horrendous student assault and definitely prime example of school safety. So that was, I had to really reflect on that the whole time you were talking about it. And while your video was very well put together, you talked about it in the respect that it deserved, but used it as a catapult to really talk about school safety. So what I would say is that sometimes our greatest preparations come from threats. I can remember when I was principal, we had students that were calling in bomb threats, and it was a fad. Everybody was doing it until students started getting expelled, and we found ways to be able to trace them back. And that was back before cell phones and all that. They were going to pay phones and doing it. So, and they were expelled from school. So it really made me reflect on that. But then I started thinking about what you said when you were talking about going all the way back to, that students live in such a time of terror whenever somebody could come in and do that. And then I started thinking about when I was a student, when I was a child. We used to, at that time, US and Russia threats were to go to war. And so we did what we called like bomb drills, where not that you were ever going to survive a bomb, but we literally would do drills in the school, in elementary school, and I would climb down under my desk and we'd get in fetal position, but we would go under our desk to protect ourselves from debris, because you certainly couldn't have survived an actual bomb threat. But that was part of our life. I remember being terrified. I hated Russia. I was scared of them because they were our enemy and they were going to drop an atomic bomb on us. And we were all going to die because I hated Americans. So that was the propaganda when I was a child. And I just remember those bomb drills. We did them all the time. So when I became principal and we had bomb threats, it was a completely different type of bomb. So if you think about it and you really research it, we have a history. It goes all the way back. And I know in one of the papers I was reading from one of the students in the 512 law course, they actually had traced back to the very first, what you would call an assault on students, a school terrorism, school attack. And it was way back, like early, where somebody had gone into a one-room school and shot everyone. So unfortunately, we now know everything that's going on, and it's always probably been going on. We just weren't aware of it. It wasn't in our face. It wasn't something that we became aware of. But what I do think is that we are protecting our students. This is not something that's new. It's just something we're being exposed to more frequently. And I think it still goes back to that whole thing about threats create preparation. So when someone threatens us, we become more prepared. And I think that anytime we can become more prepared as administrators, the better off we are. But great reflection piece. I thought you really were spot on as far as what an insightful reflection log. Thanks for sharing.